What's up, everybody? And welcome to Picking Up the Crap for February 2013. This series covers the NPD hardware and software sales for the video game industry. I'm your host, the one and only Jodecideion, joined by my partner in crime, the Shooter.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Here are your software numbers for the NPD 2013 US market. At number 1, Dead Space 3 across 3 platforms, selling 605,000 copies. Number 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Number 3, Crysis 3, selling 260,000 copies. 4, NBA 2K13. 5, Metal Gear Rising. 6, Aliens Colony Marines. 7, Just Dance 4. 8, Far Cry 3. 9, Sly Cooper. 10, Madden NFL 13. Here are your hardware numbers for the current gen HD systems and the next gen Wii U. Coming in number 1, the Xbox 360 selling 302,000 systems, down 29.1%. PS3 263,000 systems, down 26%. And the Wii U receiving a slight increase, selling 66,000 systems in the month of February. In all, the Nintendo ecosystem, DS, 3DS, Wii, and Wii U combined sell 455,000 systems. According to the NPD, the Wii U and the PS Vita had a slight increase when it came to weekly sales for the month of February. Alright, everybody, it's now time to go public, the segment of the series where we just talk about random industry news, or we try to go in depth with the previous NPD hardware and software numbers. Right now, I want to talk about the slight increase the Wii U hardware and even the PlayStation Vita hardware had last month. Now remember, both consoles in the US market had no new game releases, yet they had a quite small but significant increase in hardware sold. Shooter, in your opinion, where did this desire to buy the Wii U and Vita come out of nowhere, especially with no games being on the market or new games?
Probably a combination of slight exposure. Yeah, we know that there hasn't been much marketing as far as television goes. But I mean, between word of mouth and of course the internet, I think that might have contributed to a lot. I always look at the Miiverse as a really good source. I mean, of course, it hasn't fully expanded to the mainstream internet, but I think I see that as a possible change in things and a swing in momentum. Also, I think anticipation for new titles, because I know a trend in Japan is when they learn of new titles coming out a month or even several months ahead of time, they'll actually purchase a console beforehand. I guess to keep from have to worry about any low stock or anything like that. That's case in point. That's what they did with the 3DS.
Exactly. That makes perfect sense. Also, it could be just something simple as income tax. You know, there are a lot of people who want to buy things but just broke or have other priorities. You know what I'm saying? Bills, kids, life. And so maybe there's a couple of people who wanted a Wii U at launch or during Christmas that finally got income tax and decided to buy one. The same for the Vita. You know, but also I agree with you too. We're now in March, even though this is covering February numbers. In March alone, there's been several Wii U games to drop. High profile Wii U games, exclusive Wii U games. And so, quite possibly, it could be people who really were looking forward to those games decided, let me go ahead and get one now. I mean, various retailers having, like, buy something, get a gift card type thing, option, whatever. You might find a couple of deals out there, and maybe they decided to take advantage of those deals then, so they can be ready for when the games came out, now. All right, in our next public segment, I want to talk about the trend of software sales in the North American market. And as we saw with the last month NPD, and I've been saying this for the longest time, despite what consoles are selling, despite what's going on with the industry, gamers, people who play games, they're not buying games. And I don't care what the title is. I don't care how new it is. I don't care what it is. People are not buying games. At least nowhere near the rate they were years in the past. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, hell, last generation. In the past, a big profile game, as it was quality, people would have bought it. In masses. And you have for instance the HD consoles in North America alone. You have about a maybe what 50 million user base supposedly. Well, at least 50 million systems sold in North America alone. Yet a new game like Dead Space that just launched only sold 605,000 copies across two platforms. That just sounds wrong to me. Another example, the new Metal Gear Rising game, exclusive to those consoles, on a user base of 50 million in the West, it sold under 260,000 copies in its first month on release. A Metal Gear game, despite what Metal Gear it is, usually sells at least, almost a million copies, especially on one system. And you got two systems with a user base of people who supposed to like this game, and it just, I'm gonna say it bombed. You know, Now the Aliens game, we know that was hot garbage, so the sales of that was expected. But still, what's up with the Dead Space numbers on the consoles that it is on, and what's up with the Metal Gear Rising numbers?
Yeah, it's quite perplexing. Like you said, especially with the user base that high. And Dead Space, if I'm not mistaken, it did it. I don't know. Did it start out on PC originally, or was it always multi-platform, or whatever the case? I mean, the fact that there's not much support. I mean, now reviews, I've heard mixed reviews. I'm not gonna sit back and say it was a bad game, but I've heard mixed reviews. And now as far as Metal Gear Rising, I've heard nothing but great reviews for that one. And in
Exactly.
fact, it even sold well in Japan. So really, what is going on?
And I mean, and that Metal Gear game, excuse me, it's not your typical Metal Gear game. Metal Gear is a franchise that's respected. It sells big numbers, but the gameplay is not for everybody. It's slow. It's very story oriented. You know what I'm saying? This other game with the other character, Raiden, it's an action game. It's done by Platinum Games, known for quality, crazy action. So you think it would have
Yeah,
even more people interested in it because it is action. It's not walk around, hide it on the box. It's cut your head off type stuff. Yeah, it did that on so-called hardcore gamer systems. And I mean, another example, the 3DS, for example, the 3DS is doing well in Japan, definitely, and it's doing moderately well in the West. Not the DS numbers, but it's doing okay. Yet the 3DS has had major games drop recently, and the numbers of those games are nowhere near what you think they would be, especially if you compare it to the DS kind of counterparts. And then the other games that are still in the market, they're still selling, evergreen titles. You say they're selling still in that kind of, it feels like it's mediocre, numbers. New Super Mario Brothers 2 above 10,000. Don't have the exact numbers. Paper Mario above 10,000. That just came out 2 months ago, not three, like 2 or 3 months ago. You know, it's games like that, and it's perplexing to me. It's like why these games are quality titles, and in a generation ago, they would be selling huge number. They'll be the top 10 of the NPD alone. So why now they're just selling this. Well, basically, what I'm asking you, the sales of these games as they currently are, is this the new standard? Don't expect no more big, huge numbers unless it's a major, major title that's going to be on like 5 consoles. Games are now going to be selling in their first opening month, you know, sub 500,000 type numbers.
yeah. That's what I've been curious about myself. The standard now with the low sales. I mean, it's the overall industry is down. I mean, it got a decent boost after the holiday, but overall, it's just down. And people, I don't know, they're not purchasing hardware software like they used to. So I mean, I don't know, what could change. I mean, if there is gonna if there can be a change, or if this is just gonna be based consumer mindset, I don't know.
Well, here's another question, and before we end this, could it be the possibility of a two-way combo of people waiting to buy it used or waiting to buy it on sale? Because everybody, the games drop prices nowadays quickly. And then also having other avenues like Steam, for instance, buying games that are they're digitally and they're cheaper. Could be a two-way combo like that going on, where people are just waiting to buy it cheaper on Steam or buy cheaper at retailers or buy used.
That's a possibility as well. Especially with the current current market, or well, I mean the I mean economy with even though the supposedly the jobless claims supposedly went down, and we're in, as you mentioned, we're in the time of year where we get more tax returns, but it's, I think, for particularly for the gaming industry, there must be some kind of I don't know, like I said, some kind of mindset forming where it's either get a game at a cheaper price, wait till later down the road, or as will sales be, will the titles be evergreen? Will they have decent sales but keep charting with sales month after month? You know what I mean? Because of, like I said, because people going waiting to get them later. So it's that's a possibility.
Hmm. Okay, well, I think next month is gonna be real. It's gonna definitely answer all the questions we had in this going public segment, but also in just as the industry as it currently is. Next month, NPD will cover March. March, for instance, I'm expecting if great games sell hardware, like the rule that the standard rule of gaming, then I expect the Wii U to have a significant increase in hardware sold. With great games like Lego City Undercover, Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, an excellent port of Need for Speed coming out, being released also, I expect the Wii U to have a bump. I'm not saying it's going to be the best selling console next month, but I expect it to be nowhere near this sad state it is currently. And then also on just people buying games, Sony had a big release in God of War Ascension. I want to see how that game does in its first month. It should at least do. And I know the time of year is different and everything, but because of the overall user base is a lot bigger than when a part of three was released a couple years ago. I'm expected to have close to those kind of numbers at launch. And if it don't, then that's just a whole another group of questions I have for the industry. Well, for Pick Up the Crap, February 2013, I'm your boy, the one and only Jodecideion.
And this is the shooter. Thanks, guys, for watching.
We see you next time. Take care.